to the wall, everything's clear. They think it's over, look at the smoke, and we gon' be there, yeah. We're the survivors, we're the survivors, we're the survivors, we're the survivors.
Hey, what up? It's your girl, Daniree. Welcome to the Daniree Show. Super excited to be here. And joining me for today, okay? Hold on to your hats, y'all. I'm telling you, it's going to be crazy. Tyrone Briggs.
Yeah. What's going on?
What's poppin'?
Chilling. You already know, just working.
Listen, I'm so glad to have you here because here's the thing, right? And I was telling you this a bit off camera, right? That I'm so excited because you've been on my list to interview for quite some time. So for me, this is like a full circle moment. So I'm really happy that you're here.
I appreciate that. And I'm sitting there like, yo, when are we gonna work? Like that's my thing. Like, when are we gonna work? Like I see you moving and out.
You just gotta let me know when to say when, man. That's how we doing it around
here. I see y'all
here
moving, man. I'm like, all right, this is lit. Like, when am I gonna get an interview? You
know? But you have built quite a legacy for yourself, not only in just on the island, Staten Island, where you're from, but in general and overall with things such as music publishing, songwriting, the music business in general.
Yeah. So
talk to me a little bit about that and how different your career may be from the standard hip hop artist.
I mean, it's well, let me not say I was always like that. I wasn't. I was always trying to like fit in and try to prove people I'm really talented and I'm nice and I could lyrically do as well as anybody else that was around the neighborhood and stuff like that, or anybody that, you know, people listen to. It was just one of those things where, you know, shout out to my man Jay Glaze, me and him were working on records. Like we used to start off making cover records for MTV.
Yes.
With like a company called Orchard, right? And these cover records that we would do like Pitbull records, Flo Rida.
I could see Flo Rida.
B.O.B. And the more I did the records, the more I realized, you know, they do melodies. Mm-hmm. At that time, I was just rapping. I started to discover, like, oh, I can kind of do this. Like, and I started, like, with that, I started learning, like, my range in terms of keynotes.
People don't understand that. So talk to us a little bit about range as an artist, because not many people understand in hip-hop what you would mean by that.
It's projecting your voice in a melodic tone.
Yeah.
And being able to not sing, but carry a note.
Carry a tune, yeah, for sure.
I feel like G minor is like my comfortable zone. If you know music, you know G minor is my comfortable zone. And I went from like, you know, just like practicing it from practicing the with the covers, it kind of helped me pick the brain of the artist.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they did this on, you know, like when, and not like, it'll be like, oh, they did this type of melody during this synth note. That's kind of fire. All right, so maybe I'll start, like, and I started writing it and adding it to my, like, arsenal of abilities to write.
Who did you find that you were taking inspiration from the most?
B.O.B.
Really? Why do you think that is?
B.O.B. is probably one of my favorite artists, like rap artists of all time now.
I could see that.
It's just one of those things where it's like, you know, me and him kind of probably got like we project the same kind of sort of. Like, it's like a rasp in both of our voices that I see like, all right, I'm kind of comfortable with this type of approach. Mm-hmm. Not saying that I do what he does. It's just like, all right, I could relate more. I connect more with what he does than a Pitbull or a Flo Rida.
I could see that. Do you think that the lyricism also plays into that? Because I feel like B.O.B. is
rap.
Yeah.
He can rap. Like, and that's one of the things I loved about it. Is like, oh, nah, he's rapping. Like, oh, he's snapping. And I'm like, and it made me go from like those records, like, you know, the Adventures of B.O.B., like his first album and stuff. And I went back to his back catalog. And I was like, oh, he's nice.
Yeah.
And he stopped doing those records recently, like in the last like 4 or 5 years. And he's just been focusing on being a rapper again.
But he's coming back out too, and I've heard some of his newer stuff. He has a song called Miss Professional, and it sounds very reminiscent of his older, more pop-like type of vibes.
Yeah.
But back to you, because there's something that I found very interesting in your music, which is that, and I looked back, I saw in 2017 you had that project that you had put out. Help me with the name one more time, I'm sorry.
Victorious?
Victorious, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so now with Victorious, I noticed that there was some records on there that were kind of explicit, and then when you get towards like the winner and the process that you just put out not too long ago, there's a lot of less cursing going on in that.
Well,
Was that done purposely?
well, to be fair, when you listen to Victorious, it's not me doing the cursing.
Right. That's true.
It's-
That is
it's-
true. You know what?
it's-
I did notice that.
It's the feature artist that's doing the cursing, and I don't like to tell people, nah, you can't curse on my records. I want you to like if I like you take Eddie, right? Eddie's on the record called Playground, and he's having fun. I don't want him to not have fun. I don't want to tell him what not to do because it takes away from the fun of the creativity of the record, and then
Understood.
it becomes a chore.
So then, that being said, right, because I didn't want to make the assumption that you didn't curse in your records, but now that that's confirmed that you really don't, what is the reason for that?
We don't come from that. I don't need to curse in order to get my point across. And that's
Understood.
like, I will rap 80 bars right now and really rap with no curses.
No, that's the crazy
is
part.
one-
And I was speaking to somebody about this recently because I was listening to your project a few times, the process, and I had to run it like literally 5 times just to make sure. And it's crazy, you know, on Spotify and Apple Music, obviously there's an E there for explicit, and obviously there's no E there. So what am I running this project for back 5 times over when it's clear the man doesn't curse? But I really couldn't even believe it.
It's because it's one of those things where if I curse, that means I really wanted to. Like I needed to get that off. But I feel like it's not a necessity.
Yeah.
A lot of artists, when they come down to cursing, they use those curses to fill in the blank of what they want to say.
Here's the thing too, and I noticed this about you, and you've advocated about this on your personal Facebook as well. You read quite a bit. You think that has also contributed to your vocabulary and how you word and phrase things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the things where I was like watching this Papoose interview actually, and he was talking about how much he read the dictionary. It resonated with me like, oh, so I don't have to say the F-bomb. I don't have to say the N-word. I can substitute that with something else.
Speaking of, what is your stance on using the N-word in music? How do you feel about it?
Don't get me wrong, I've done it, and I do it somewhat still to this day. I just try to minimize them as much, but I feel like it's not a good thing based off of the history of the word.
Right.
Me personally, I get it, and I get with everybody else. Like I understand where certain artists they want to spin it and make it something positive versus negative. But me personally, I just can't do it as much as I used to. I wasn't always this guy who wasn't cursing.
Right.
I've cursed
Plenty.
but it's one of those things where like, you know, I had somebody reach out to me recently. I was in Las Vegas, and I had a woman from Australia reach out to me for her son.
Wow.
And she wanted me to send her son a video through Instagram wishing him a happy day because he listens to my music so much.
Wow, man.
And those are the reasons why I have to take the steps, make conscious decisions of what I'm going to actually say in these records, because there are children. I have 2 children myself, so I know I don't want them listening to certain things because I know how much it could influence.
Right.
I have to be the same way.
Understood.
You know, like those are the things, like, you know, that's why.
You set the standard and you set the precedence for yourself, and I respect that. I see it and I understand it. I even took the liberty of speaking to some of your peers and your colleagues, if you didn't mind.
Wow.
I know. Hey, listen, we keep it thorough around here. The thoroughest girl next door. You already know the vibes.
I hear you.
And here's what some of them had to say when I asked them to use one word to describe some of your music. What they said, inspirational, epic, experience, diverse, authentic. And then I add it to the list because the way I feel, I think it sounds like marathon music.
I appreciate everybody's input and everybody's opinion on the music. That's great.
How do you feel when you think about the people that have worked with you and in your inner circle, and that's how they feel about you? Is there ever that pressure?
I mean, I listen, that's a beautiful thing. Me personally, I just want to make music that one day I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I want to make music that ain't going to die. And I think that's where, like, when the people I choose on records, I know they make timeless music as well. Because there's certain records I play. My man Frank is here.
Shout out to Frank Nitty.
He makes timeless records. He has a few records that I could play from 2016, 2015, 2013.
Yeah.
And that goes with a lot of the people that I work with. I just want to make stuff that, it's not just in the moment. So, like, that's my sole purpose. Like, that's the goal for me, and I will hope that's the goal for everybody else. Like, it's not pressure per se, because we have fun. As long as we have fun, there's never pressure.
I could see that.
You know what I'm
Definitely.
saying? So, like, it's flattering, yes, but the job is to make sure that we leave something here when we're gone.
I like that answer. I will take that. Now, you have had quite a few placements in both the television and film world and commercial. You've had a ton of commercial success with your music and advertising. Which one is your personal favorite placement that you've ever received?
That's a good question. I would say there's a few of them. I can't just name one. I don't want to be that guy, right? But for sure, in the Big East tournament for 2 years straight.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big basketball fan.
Now, not many people know that I know this, but is it true? And I think it's true. You had to rewrite one of the records for the Big East.
2 of them, both of them.
Tell me about that.
So the reason being is because they wanted to be tailor-made to fit what was going on in the Big East. So they would send me like what we call a brief. Mm-hmm. Like, all right, you needed to use these keywords, and make sure that you talk about these things because it has to fit what we're talking about during the Big East. Is like the lead up to March Madness. March Madness is the playoffs of the NCAA.
Yes.
So the Big East is like the pre-playoffs. So they want to make sure that what we're doing is lining up to what we're like. I was basically the spokesman for the 2 years.
This is where the heart is. Players turning the stars and shine as enormous, as bright as the light you see in the garden. Best experience come from the Big East tournament. March to MSG where we born to be victorious. I was born to be victorious. Most definitely destined to be.
I would have did the same thing last year, but unfortunately COVID happened.
Yeah.
And it was cool. Like, all right, I gotta. How many? First thing I said, how much do I have to write? He's like, all right, none, just like maybe 30 seconds. Like, all right, we can do that. That's not a problem. Wrote it down, and like, I sent them like 5 or 6 versions of it, different things, and they took a liking to it. So that and the Tony Hawk thing with Lose Control, I love that. For the simple fact that I grew up on it. I grew up on Tony Hawk, PlayStation 1.
Hey, briefing the mission. For everyone listening, forget your conditions. Get out your seats and start tripping. Everyone know it's our moment. It's about time we control it. I see the future approaching. Let's show the world that we own it. Go! People on the floor. Give the world a show. Get up out your seats. Lose control. Go!
And Lose Control was released August 1st.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Glaze, Jay Glaze, and Mike Cash. Jay Glaze
Yes.
created Victorious, which created the
Glaze
opportunity.
Glaze is a monster.
Yeah, he's a
man.
beast.
He's just a monster.
And shout out to Mike Cash because he created Lose Control.
Okay, so now here's my next question, because there's challenges, right? And you explain this in terms of like you're given a brief, you have to follow that script to a T, and send it back to them, right?
Yeah.
But there's some challenges with that, such as maybe you not particularly seeing eye to eye with the corporate partner, or perhaps maybe the potential of losing the deal because creatively it's not in sync. How do you deal with that?
I mean, listen, if there's I always try to negotiate. Well, shout out to my man Flip because he does a lot of negotiating for me, or with me rather. I wouldn't say for me, but it's a happy medium.
Yeah.
They might meet. Their criterion, ours, might be on two different sides. But it's like, all right, how about we negotiate? Hove said something in the book that I've been reading recently. You don't get, it's decoded, by the way, if anybody wanted the book. You don't get what you're worth, you get what you negotiate.
That's right. Big facts.
So it's like, all right, you might not like this. I'm not really comfortable with doing this, but maybe we could meet in the middle and do something close to both of us, and maybe we could, and I've had those scenarios. So it's like, luckily, God willing, I haven't had a scenario where it ended on bad terms.
Yeah.
I wasn't I didn't have to experience that, Lord willing. But I had those experiences where it's like, maybe we could like up like my thing, it would be more so it's not the money, like, the upfront pricing on the license is not as important as being added to the credit.
Okay.
And that's my thing with anything I do. Like, music by Tyrone Briggs need to be there because that is more important to me. The imprint of, all right, the person that gave the feeling, because without the music behind the ad, it doesn't drive the ad.
Yeah.
Imagine we watched a bunch of commercials and there was no music behind it.
Sad world.
You wouldn't even want to buy the shit that you buy. Pardon my language, I'm
That's
sorry.
okay, it's okay.
You wouldn't even want to buy the stuff. The items. Like, if Apple was playing a commercial with no music, you're not really going to want to buy it. So it's like, I kind of know the worth of the record being played in the back.
Yeah.
Just add us there. That's all you have
And
to
add
do.
tags.
That's it. It don't have to be on the commercial. Like, if it's on YouTube, make sure we're in the criteria of the record. Like, all right, you have that, YouTube, Apple, Snap Music, Tyrone Briggs. So that's my only gripe.
Okay. That makes sense. Now, we're going to touch base on your newer projects, but there's some questions about this music licensing that I got to get off my chest because it's just been a long time coming. Do you feel like you have been typecasted? And what I mean by that is, like, do you feel that you always have that role to play as the victorious champion in all of your music?
Nah, because honestly, people know. Like, before that, I dropped a project called Scattered Thoughts, and I was like, I was a rapper. Like, I am a rapper, essentially. I choose to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I like to show people more of the positive stuff. I still have characters that, about myself. I still have to, like, speak about myself in a personal sense, and I still have to do certain records. Yes, but I do that for the fans more so. Don't get it twisted. I can rap.
Yeah.
Really well. But I don't have to be that guy. I feel like people are going to follow what is authentic, and it doesn't matter. As long as you stay authentic, it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
Like, like we go back to the B.O.B. thing, I think people are still gonna latch on to his music because he's authentic. I'm authentic. It don't matter as long as I'm saying stuff that really is me. It's like a part of me. It doesn't matter what I do. I don't have to be that guy. Like I don't have to be the champion and victorious. I don't have to make those music. I don't have to make that music all the time.
So that being said, how then do you? Because I feel like you do this in a masterful way, where you use your own personal experience within music, but then you also know when to get experimental as well. You know, you know how to kind of push the levels of your creativity or push the boundaries, so to say. Mm-hmm. And how did you learn how to balance that, those two, I guess, different sides of the spectrum? Like, how are you able to still maintain the music that you're known for, but also continuously build and rebrand and kind of like give people that new sound with it as well?
I mean, man, how can I put this in words? Kobe Bryant is my biggest inspiration of life.
Yes, rest in peace.
And Kobe Bryant was a person that stood in the gym all the time.
Right.
You miss 100% of shots that you don't take.
Facts.
Me personally, what's ill about it is a lot of the songs that you guys, a lot of songs you might not hear. Those are records. That's practice records. Those are records for me to just like figure it out.
Fair
like,
enough.
And it's like, all right, I might write 3 songs a day, but one of those songs I'm gonna record. The other 2 I'm gonna scrap and throw in the garbage, or I'm just gonna leave in the archives.
Yeah.
Because it was building up to that third one. And that was the experimental factor about it. It's like, all right, I like cadences. I like different cadences. But I know for a certain, like if I do a trap beat, I have to do a certain cadence that nobody else. 5 a.m. in the studio, I treat it like the day shift. Serve 'em like my baby mom's. I'm like, all right, let me take that and then put it on this instead of putting on that. Let me experiment with this. Oh, that fits right there. That's crazy. I like that. Let me just add on to that. I mean, you know, and it creates excitement for me, which makes me want to experiment more on other things. So yeah, it goes with just practice. That's all.
Which song in your catalog did you think would be the most successful and it wasn't?
Alive.
All our troubles are gone, taken away. Let's celebrate, it's a brand new day. I feel so alive, because we live a little life. While we're still young, we'll stay out all night. I feel so alive.
Really?
Yes. Yo, I swear to God, that song was out of here. What? Yo, I was like, we was in the studio. Shout out to Flip, because Flip co-wrote some of those, co-wrote with the record with me, and me and Flip was going back and forth. I'm like, yo, this is out of here. This is the one. And Glaze made the instrumental. Like, I'm rapping, I'm singing, I'm doing a bunch of stuff, and I'm playing the stuff for people before I even got the chance to. I was so excited about it. I was displaying a record before I even got the chance to record it.
Oh, I know how that feels.
But the crazy part about it is that record's starting to pick up now, and that was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
One thing I would say, and this is the reason why I tell artists not to like quit, because you don't know the outcome of a record. Maybe the world wasn't ready for it at that time when you put it out.
Yeah.
Boot Up was like 3 years old before she put it out, before LMA put it out, something like that.
Big facts.
So,
Big facts.
like, maybe the world wasn't ready for it. And I still kept it where it was. And then now, like, Flip would call me like, yo, we got this placement. Or, yo, like, did you see us going up in numbers and this? And I'm like, yeah, because people are starting to, like, latch onto the record. Now the world is ready for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, it was one of those records, like, when I first dropped them, like, I was so disappointed. Like, I didn't think Victorious was going to be the one, actually.
Really? Why?
At all. I don't know. I just, like in my heart of hearts, because I put so much into the other records. Like, I did Victorious. And that's the thing. Pharrell said something, and he said, when it comes down to records, go with your first instinct. Victorious, I went with my first instinct. Everything else, I thought about the record and did it.
What about Victorious was instantaneous to you?
I don't even remember.
Damn it, man.
Yo, it was so unconscious.
Really?
It was so unconscious. The only thing I thought about was Victorious because, all right, so the whole record stemmed from, I wanted to become, like, all right, I have a cousin named Victorious.
Oh, okay.
He was shot and killed in 2013.
Yes, I remember reading about this.
Yeah, 2013 he passed away. He was killed. And he wasn't my closest cousin, but he was my little cousin.
Right.
And his, like, you know, his family, like his sister and his brother, I'm really close with. I was close with him. Every time I see him, it's all love. It was just the way that things, like, panned out. It kind of, like, really, like, crippled my family.
Yeah.
Because we were all, like, in disarray. Like, this is, it just didn't seem real. And one of the things was, like, how I'm going to honor him. Like, how am I going to turn my cousin into a verb?
Yeah.
That's my thing. Like, it was purposeful. Like, the record was purposeful. And I was like, yo, not for nothing. I want to make sure that if I ever be on stage, people be shouting out his name.
Wow.
He won't go in vain.
Damn.
So, like, with that purpose, I had that purpose for the song, period. It just so happened it came out the way it did. And, yo, the only thing I remember is walking in the studio, and Glaze had half of the beat done already. He's like, yo, what you think about this? And he plays it. I'm just in there just mumbling Victorious. So I just jump in the studio and just say it.
Wow.
Well, the state of the dead and remain warriors. And he's like, yo, I'm going to get my guy. Shout out to my guy, Pleasant Russell. He's like, yo, we're going to have him fill in the blanks of the Victorious. Oh, because all the same is Victorious.
Yeah.
Victorious. And then he put I was born to be. He was the one who did that.
Yeah.
I just did it over him and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And then I wrote the verses. But I don't remember how I wrote the verses. That's the thing that wasn't coherent. Like, that's the thing that was unconscious. The verses were just like, it just came to me once I got what he did. And from there, like, you know, I was like, oh, wow. I didn't think that. And it's kind of funny how the world works, yo, because in the universe, because, like I said, I didn't think that was going to be the one. But the one that meant the most to me
Was the one that hit.
was the one that meant the most to everybody else.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Hold up. Tried to overlook a rival. All eyes on me cause I got no competition. Now looking at an idol. Your dough ain't long enough to pay for my attention. Man, it's the gospel for the black sheep. I guess it got a banging ring to it. Quiet with triumph on the rap league. So all of you mother can sing to it. I was born to be victorious. Most definitely victorious. I'm destined to be victorious. Through all I hate to display, we remain warriors.
Damn. That's profound, man. And it's crazy how it works out like that, right? And I feel like one thing that you have kind of kept as a common theme in both the process and as well as the winner is like hustle, ambition, sacrifice, conquering fears. Talk to me about why you've chosen to continuously make these themes prominent in your music. Why is it so important to you?
Well, because those are things that I deal with on everyday life.
Yeah.
When I talk about these records, I'm not talking like take Survivor.
I love that record, by the way. That's my favorite record off the process.
Yeah?
Yes, it is.
I appreciate it. It's that record in particular. I was talking to myself. Stare in the mirror the next time you're looking for someone to save you.
Stare in the mirror the next time you're looking for someone to save you. Stay motivated, it's simple. Never forget where you came from. Strive for what you believe even when the odds ain't in your favor. No weapon against you should prosper. You a survivor by nature. The more that we go through on earth, the more and more we getting braver.
Wow.
Like, I'm talking to me
Wow.
most of the time in those records. Like, I'm not talking for. I'm talking to me, but I'm giving it to the people so they can like like it could resonate with them and maybe it'll spark inspiration in them because those are like a lot of my records is me coaching myself.
I
And
noticed
reminding
that.
myself
I see
about who
that.
I am and like and what I'm going through and stuff like that. So, that's where it really comes from. It's not like, and with that being said, like I'm gonna always make those records because I feel like I'm always gonna feel that way.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna have to like, and like all of us, we always gonna have to push ourselves.
Yeah.
And who's gonna like do it better than us? Like, yo, you should be able to motivate yourself more than any like. You should be more inspiration in your motivation than anybody else. Like, yes, Kobe is an inspiration to me, and everybody else who looks at the music inspiration. But I have to be the one who gets up and do it.
Yeah.
So that's what it comes down to. Like, like I'm always do that. It's like 4 or 5 records. It's like, oh well, how do you still do this? No, yeah, I'm still doing it because I'm still going through it. That's all it really comes down
Well,
to.
and that's the thing, right? Like, because I think that, and we spoke about this a little bit off camera, on social media, we're all posting for the means, most of us, posting for the means of entertainment, at the end of the day. And the things that you post on your socials are obviously a little bit different, the way you move. But all that's to say is, like, how is it that you have been able to stay true to yourself despite all of the, all of the different social medias and all of the different platforms that constantly push you to put out this, and I don't want to say a facade, but for lack of a better word, a character, right? Because we can't highlight our bad moments. Nobody really wants to see that.
No, I don't think that's the truth. I think people do want to see it.
You think so?
We don't think people
We want to see it. Right.
I honestly believe that because those are the moments that connect with people the most.
Yeah.
When you watch a movie like Love and Basketball, it's not the good moments that you connect with.
Right.
It's the moments where he breaks up with the girl and he goes and does his own thing and become a basketball player, but he still comes back to her and they play that ball game. And at the end of the day, it's like double or nothing. And, and they fall and they start kissing and stuff. Those moments make you cry. Those are the moments that connect with people the most. I feel like I don't connect with J. Cole's music that's good. I connect with Love Yours.
Okay.
Because those are the records that when we listen to it, it's like, it's here. I write shit online. It might be some off the wall, but I know that people are reacting and laugh because I'm at that point I'm trying to make them laugh.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want people to know, like, be comfortable with going through something because we all going through something.
Were you always comfortable with being vulnerable in life and in music?
Hell no.
And how did you work that? How did you, because right, look at it this way. You're doing music publishing, you're doing, writing and all of that. You're collaborating with other creatives. How is it that you were able to kind of be vulnerable or be collaborative, have that openness to you? Because that's not easy for any artist, I don't care who you are, to share your creativity.
Well, I think it's 2 things, right? I feel like one is I had to grow up and know that everybody got problems.
Yeah.
Some people worse than others. Some way worse than me. Some better than me, whatever. If I can spark a mind that's going to motivate somebody else to do that, so be it. I want somebody to learn from what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's one. Number 2, it's a part of being an artist.
Yeah.
It's a part of being an artist. You have to do it. Everything ain't perfect. And it's never perfect. In order for you to be the artist, you have to show flaws. Sometimes your flaws are what makes your art great. Like, yo, I'm not perfect. I know I'm not. None of us are perfect.
Right.
So for me to fake the funk is unrealistic. I have to show people. Because those are the people that are going to, like, those are the people that are going to be the ones that be like, you know what, I learned something from this. That's all I want people to do is learn from what I've done, whether it's a mistake, whether it's an accomplishment. If I teach you something, so be it.
Yeah.
That's it. Learn from my mistakes.
Here's the other thing, right? Because mistakes, obviously, part of failure, part of this industry. One thing that you also have talked about in your common themes is about how many failures you've experienced and how much you failed. Talk to those that are probably watching you right now that are maybe just starting, or maybe they've been doing it for a while and they feel like they're failing. What would you say to them?
Failure turns you to a giant.
Yeah.
Without failure, you're not gonna know how to succeed. You have to fail because those are the lessons you learn in failure is gonna be able to. You're gonna learn from those, and that's gonna be able to help you manifest into being successful. You have to learn how to fail because it's a necessity. Nobody comes in the gym shooting 100% shots. Jordan didn't win his first ring until 7 years in. It's crazy. You gotta learn. It's a necessity. So it's I'm much rather speak about my failures rather than speak about my accomplishments. What is that gonna teach you? What's that gonna teach me? How am I gonna connect to you by saying, look, I won everything without showing you, all right, listen, I won 5 things, but these 30 things right here, I failed at. I failed so bad. But I learned from those failures, let's not spend so much money on stupidness. Let's not trick in a club. Let me not buy this bottle. Let me just put this money away and put it towards a T-shirt that I can give to somebody. Or let me not, how about the session? Let me not go late to the session. Let me not go, it's little things that you might not think are failures that might change your life. Let me not come late to this interview.
Big facts.
We wouldn't be talking as much if I came late. So those are the things that I've learned from. I've done a lot of that. I've literally come from a space where not a lot of people help me.
Yeah.
So in order for me to learn, I had to learn by myself or learn with the little bit of people that wanted to contribute to me becoming who I am right now.
Let's get into the winner and the process, right? Because they're not released much time in between. So what was the idea with that, first of all?
I didn't want to say anything.
You didn't wanna?
I didn't want to say anything because, it's still part of another rollout that I'm doing.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah. All right. So they went in the process. I did a bunch of records in between those also. But the winner in the process are 2 projects that I decided to put out. Me and Glaze, we had an idea, and I said, you know what? I want to just do something different instead of just doing Victorious and just another Victorious. I don't want to do that. I want to do something a little different. I want to show what the accomplishments, and I want to show the failures. I feel like those are the 2 different things. The process is more like the failure project, and the winner is more like the accomplishment project. You get more dark records on the process.
Yeah.
Like Survivor, The Cost. I love The Cost.
The Cost is great.
That's one of my favorite records. There's a price when you want to live your dreams.
Yeah.
These things are spoken about. And then you got the other records I was born to be a great, I was born to be a winner. Yeah, you are. But you have to get to that. I wish what I wanted to do, that I didn't do, is put the process out first and then the winner. But I felt like the process was so ill. I feel like the winner is straight to the point. Yo, let me put out these music. I wanted to get that off first. And the second one, I wanted to be more thought-provoking.
I gotta be honest, I favor the process. And I think the reason why I favor the process is because of where I am in my journey. I've been doing interviewing for 10 plus years now, but I still don't find myself in that position that I necessarily want to be in, where I do have an entire creative control aspect of it, but I'm still not seeing the fruits of my labor in the way in which I envision it for myself. And I think that this project as I listened to it, honestly, it made me just want to get up and and run and just go grab it.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it is, like it gives you that gusto to just be like, yo, let's go. You know.
It's funny that you say that. I was reading this book called Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and one of the things that they say in the book is what they pinpoint. I don't want to get into too much of the book, but what they get into is how people, the determinism of character determinism versus personality determinism. And the personality one is like, yeah, you could be a winner and this and that. But the character, like the character ethics, it's personality ethics and it's character ethics.
Right.
The character ethics are the ones that create you. These are the ones that like, all right, it's not about me being a winner, it's how I become a winner.
Yeah.
And you have to take those initial steps to do it. I think that's more like the process. The winner is more like, all right, it's more of a personality thing. Like, yeah, I am a winner because, you know, I overcome these boundaries and I've done this and I've done that. This is more generating to people that are going through it, and there's more people going through that. Even if you're not, you feel that way because you dream so big that you want. I'm not satisfied.
Right.
No matter how much I've done right now, I'm never going to be satisfied because I always want to search for that next thing. Look, you see, look at this setup.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that can't do this. They can't pull this off. They wish to be in your position, but you're not satisfied.
No.
So you're sitting here like, I'm not, and until I'm on TV, I'm and interviewing people that are A-list artists and so on and so forth. I'm not gonna be satisfied. And when you get there, you're not gonna be satisfied.
Even then.
So to me, the process, the winner is more like I've passed the finish line. The process is more. It might be infinity.
Yeah.
Because you might not know when you gonna feel that way. I don't feel that way at all. I'm probably never gonna feel that way, and that's why that project also resonates with me so much.
Wow.
Like, yo, screw that. I'm not gonna be done until I'm done, like completely done. Like my life is over. I'm not gonna be done.
So you plan to maintain rapping for a while?
I'll be rapping till I'm 80.
Let's get it. In the nursing home, making beats on the wall.
I feel like you see how like
with the walker,
you see how the
and the
Delphonics and
wheelchair.
all those guys like perform like the Temptations. I'm gonna be like that as a rapper.
Say that.
As long as I'm
Speak
living,
that.
I'm always gonna be able to speak for people. That's what it is. It's a service. We are a service. We generate for people. This is who we inspire. The biggest contribution you can do, Nipsey said it, the biggest contribution you can do on this earth is inspire. As long as we are alive, we're never gonna, our job ain't over. My kids is alive. I have to show them something.
Yeah.
If I show them anything, show them like, yo, I want to be able to tell my kids, be like, yo, you can do whatever you want. You might have to sacrifice for it. And some of those sacrifices might not be something that you're willing to do, or you might be willing to do.
Right.
But you might have to sacrifice for it. But if you go for your dreams, you're going to succeed. I want to be able to tell them that and really mean it. I want to be the living proof that they could do that.
I believe you've gotten off to a really good start, Tyrone. Not for nothing.
I don't know. Well,
But listen, but you know what? That's the thing, right? It is a process, right? We hear people say it all the time. Trust the process. Trust the process.
Yeah.
What does that mean for you? What has it meant for you throughout your career?
be comfortable that no matter what you do, as long as you do what's right, it's going to come back to you. Put out in the universe. You get back from the universe what you put out.
Right.
Trust the process. Like, that's it. Like, yo, you get out, you get back what you dish out. That's it. If you dish out, like I said, Alive is starting to pick up now. It's been 4 years. I put that record out 4 years ago. I know what I put into it. I'm starting to see results now.
Right.
As long as you put out, you'll be all right. You'll be straight. You're a good person. You keep your heart pure. You don't bother anybody. You don't do any. You don't handle business with malicious intent. You don't do any of that. You be honest with yourself. You wake up every day and you devote time to what you do. You're gonna see a kickback.
Tyrone, talk to me about a time, because we've spoken about this throughout the interview, right? Nothing is perfect. Yeah. Failures are plentiful in this business.
Yeah.
Talk to me about a time where you wanted to quit entirely, when you just wanted to give it up.
All right, well, there was one time not give it up per se, because I go through that a lot. Music for me is like a girl. Sometimes she just ain't working for me. She's just not faithful. She's going to other people, and I'm like, yo, huh? What about me? So it's not like I go through that motion all the time. Right. It's like, all right, well, if I ain't feeling you, shorty, I ain't feeling you. That's just me. So I'll just dip off for a while, and she comes back, and I'm like, I love you for a reason. That's just me and music's relationship. But I can tell you, there was a time where I had to take a hiatus, and a major hiatus, and that was 2017. And the reason after Victorious, and the reason was because with Victorious we was experimenting.
Yeah. It
wasn't easy for me to adjust to that person. Pardon me. And I was getting so much criticism from everybody else around me because they're so used to hearing me rapping that they didn't listen to, they didn't appreciate what I was bringing to the table for a while. What are you doing? Why are you making these pop records? They're not pop records, they're commercial records. And they're very clean records.
A lot of people didn't see your vision, from what I gather in the beginning.
Yo.
How did you surpass that? How did you not let that interfere with your drive?
All right, so I want to say this one time. This camera's pointing at me, right?
That one is.
All right. Children, grown-ups, whoever. Your process is going to be a process, and nobody's going to believe it. Nobody's going to invest in it emotionally, financially, anything. Humility is a must when you're going through it. And I say that that was my problem. I was humiliated because on the outside, it was humility I was dealing with. But on the inside, I really felt confident enough that I know this is going to work because I know what's put in place for it to work.
Right.
People are going to say what they want. People are going to talk about you regardless. Whether you're doing good or doing bad, they're going to talk about you. It doesn't matter. And that was my thing. It was yo, son, I have friends, close friends, my best friends, my brothers, hitting me yo, why are you doing this? And I'm yo, you don't get it yet. Oh, but you need to up until last year they was doing that. I'm you still don't get it, do you? And when they seen oh, he's been put on Hyundai, he's been put on NCAA, he's been put on Tony Hawk, he's been put on Love and Hip Hop. Oh, I get it now. It's always gonna be like that. You're shooting for something that doesn't exist to anybody else.
Big facts.
Take a dart and throw it against the wall. Nobody else sees the target. Only you see the target. You don't see the target. That's it.
So you got.
That's all that matters. You might seem crazy to people a lot of the times. As long as as long as you keep the vision, who cares about how crazy you see? That's my brother right there, Frank. I was there when people were yo, he's making gospel records. Why is he doing that?
Right.
I fell back. I already know what it is with him. I know, like, y'all could talk, make all this, like, well, he's rapping and he's doing gospel records, then he wants to be a rapper. What is he doing? But y'all listen to DMX.
Right. Yeah.
Who does say exactly the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, yo, people are going to say what they want to say until they understand it. And now look at them. Like, oh, now you want to, all right, yeah, we inviting y'all now. Yeah, we have no problem with y'all coming to the fold and appreciating the music now because y'all understand it. I'm never going to shoo away from people because they don't understand something. They just don't understand it. That's just how it is. Just keep doing what you do. That doesn't matter. Like, one of the things that helped me, I wrote a lot of it down. And reminding myself every time I got a book bag right there. Inside that book bag is 2 books that I read daily, a book that I write in, and my laptop. I write it down and then I type it and I send it to myself in an email to never forget. Daily.
Wow.
If I don't do that on the laptop, I'm on my phone doing it.
Last question. I have to. How have you found the time to incorporate all of what you do into your life? If somebody looks at your life, I'm looking at your life from a third-party perspective, and it's so full. You're in a relationship, you have children, you're an artist by profession. You've also have just done so much and are still continuously doing so much. How have you managed all of it entirely without losing yourself?
I mean, you can't lose yourself to me. Like, if you stay true to you, you ain't gonna lose yourself. But honestly, that's a lot of God's plan. That has nothing to do with me. That's in the higher. That's a divine presence that I can't explain. Like, for instance, right now I could be like I should be having, and I want to get more into that when we do another interview. But me and my son's relationship is great, but me and my son's relationship isn't, and I'm not able to see my son right now.
Right. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Versus me and my daughter speaks every day on the phone. I can speak to my daughter every day on the phone. She lives upstate. The way that happened, I'm still on Staten Island. The way it happened, that's just that's how it came out. Maybe I made a decision somewhere down the line where it said, you know what, this is gonna cut open some time for you to do this because this is what's needed. In order for you to do this, your children one day will be able to benefit from you spending this time. That, in terms of work, I work at 9 to 5. I want people to know that I still do that. That's something I still believe in. From my I train myself to be a machine.
Right.
I don't need a lot of time to get off my chest what I have to get off. If I go from my house, from work to my house. If I'm taking a bus, guess what? I'm writing while I'm on the bus, on my way to the studio to record what I just wrote.
Facts.
That's who I am. Like, I train myself for that. If I'm going to the studio, guess what? I'm writing right then and there. It doesn't take me long, 20 minutes. 30 minutes, I got a song done. People could just vouch for that. He could vouch for that in the room, but if you speak to anybody who know me, it doesn't take me long.
Yeah.
I wrote a song. I write songs before the beat's done.
Say that.
Like, that's just who I am. Like, I got the vision. You know what I mean? Shout out to my man Flip. Shout out to Glaze. Not so much Glaze I do that with, because, Glaze, he spends his time doing what he does when it comes to records. Right. He has a process that I can't. But Flip will play a beat. Yo, I'm going to your kitchen. I won't be in the same room as him. I'm going in the kitchen. Or I'm going in the... I'll walk away. Close enough, further enough to where I can still hear the beat. But close enough to where I can still hear the beat, but further enough to where I don't have to hear people.
Right.
And I'm sitting there writing. 15 minutes. Yo, I got a verse. This is how it goes. It's just me. Like, that, and on top of that, like, if I had to bring... There's been plenty of times I brought my son with me to shows, interviews. Because I want him to see firsthand how it is. Like, if you want something, this is what you got to do to get it.
Big facts.
So, like, it's not like squeezing things in. It's just blending certain things so certain things, like, so I'm still occupied to my son. If he was here, he'll be sitting right here listening to me talk. I mean, or my daughter. Like, it's like one of those things where it's like, yo, I want you to know. I want to show you, demonstrate to you what it takes in order for you to become successful in any area. You could take this, what you learn, and put it in anything.
Right.
Construction, become a doctor, a lawyer. It's the time that you put in.
Yeah.
After that, let's go get some pizza. That's all. So it's like it's just one of those things where it's like, we as artists, we come to the stigma. We've developed the stigma that we can't have certain things working. We can't have certain things bleed into other things.
Right.
I can read or I can write while my son is doing his homework, while I'm showing him how to do his homework. I've done it. Daddy, what you doing over there? I'm helping you with your homework, but I'm doing my homework. That's how it goes. There's and it keeps you from, like, I guess losing yourself, because if I didn't have to do those things, then I wouldn't be able to, I got my man, like Frank right here. Like, Frank, he finds time to, I think it's a Virgo in me, yo. I swear. Like, you find time, man, no matter what, you find time in whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
If you really want to do it, you're going to find time to do it. Or you're going to train yourself to learn how to do it in those conditions.
I said this before. But last question.
I thought you were banging on the table.
No. No, but that too. That too. But, damn it, man.
What?
Oh, man.
Answer the most? I'm sorry.
No. Last question being, what is next for you? And I know that's such a typical question to end things off with, but
It's not.
It's not? No. Okay, good. I just want to make sure I'm not predictable.
I'm trying to venture off the different stuff outside of music.
Are you?
Hell yeah.
Where are we going?
All right, we're going clothing. Just a brief.
Clothing next.
Then there's, I might get into podding just a little bit.
Word?
Not in the forefront. Back there somewhere where, like, all right, let me just like learn this. I want to really get into engineering.
I think that would be super dope for you.
Yeah,
I think that would be super
really
dope.
That's my next thing. So, but other than that, like, well, with music, it's like, all right, you heard the process, you're the winner, but you didn't hear the winner's process. And that's an LP that I'm working on with some of the songs from the process, some of the songs from the winner. But when you hear those records, you're gonna hear different verses.
Okay.
You're gonna hear features. You're gonna hear different new songs, of course.
Yeah.
And just a actual LP, because those two records, the two projects is 5.
Which is long play, in case anyone doesn't know.
Extended play is EP.
Yeah, right. Break it down.
LP is long play.
Right.
Pause for those people. I know there's some people that's gonna say what. We're mature here. But, yeah. So basically, those are records. Like, I'm just gonna put out a full. I'm not gonna call it an album. I'm gonna call it LP.
All right.
Album. I don't want to display that yet. I don't even want to put that pressure on myself. Because an album to me is like, it's got to be a portrait, and I don't want to give a portrait yet. I don't have that. I don't want to like think. I don't want to put that pressure on myself. Yeah, I just want to have fun and make music.
Okay, that's fair enough.
So.
But listen, I want to thank you again so much, because this has just been so full, and it's given me so much energy to see you and to see how you've grown, what you're doing, how you're doing it. It's like knowing that just a year and a half ago I was sitting here with Tyrone Briggs at the top of my list trying to interview. So thank you so much for taking the time to come and speak with me. And shout outs to a few people who have helped make this happen. Frank Nitty obviously being one of those people. Shout outs to Tashani, another artist in which you worked with as well.
That's the homie.
Yeah, shout outs to John Miro, aka Flip. Who we've been referencing the whole time, and it's just been an absolute pleasure. So thank you. Thank you.
And I hope we ain't done. I hope we have more work to do.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And shout outs to Sloppy Vinyl Studios for having your girl Daniree at the Daniree Show here to speak to Tyrone Briggs. Listen, if you guys have not done so, please subscribe to the channel right now. Hit the notifications button so you know when new material's coming out. Okay? That being said, we out of here. Much love, mi gente. Y adios.